Yeah, Dialogue Across Difference is a program we stood up a little over 3 years ago. And the purpose of the program is really simple. It actually gets back to what you were talking about a little bit earlier about what are the conversations at 2 in the morning in the dormitories. Um, for those of us who attended colleges in the United States or the 80s or 90s, we had a very, very different experience than what our students are facing today. Um, you can sometimes you walk into our cafeteria and see two students sitting with each other, each on their phones, probably texting each other rather than engaging in conversation and dialogue.
Right.
And so, we came to the conclusion that while at the time we were coming up, this was sort of a natural thing that happened, that actually being able to sit down and have dialogue with someone, particularly someone who you disagree with about a very fundamental issue, whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whether it's about identity or something else, that was actually something that we could teach. And so, what we did with this program is we have built a team of professional facilitators, most of whom are professional staff, some of whom are graduate students, and some are members of our faculty, who learned how to teach and model dialogue. We've built this into our first year experience. If you want to live in our dormitories as a first year student, which we require to do you to do as a first year student, you're also required to take this course.
And it's a course. Is it an 8-week course?
It's an 8-week course. It's not credit bearing. It's just part of our student experience.
And so I'm sorry. From a student's perspective, they're taking a course that lasts 12 weeks or something like that.
Yes.
And they do this as a sub course along the way.
No, this is just an add-on.
I see.
Just like, if your dormitory said you have to do 10 hours of community service, or you
Interesting.
need to show up at 4 social events over the course of the semester. This is just part of our expectation. We then offer lots of other experiences to sign up for, and every year we have well over 1,500 students of our 8,000 undergraduates who are raising their hand and say, "I would like to sit down and talk with someone who has a different religion than I do," or "I'm really interested in sitting down with someone who has very different political views that I do," and we work with those students so they can have those dialogues with one another and flex that muscle that then they can take out and use in the rest of their campus life.
And to say again, this is their fall of their freshman year. They take the
Correct.
course?
We start. In fact, the very beginning starts during orientation, and then it's the very beginning of their first semester.
And you said a few moments ago that for a variety of reasons, including to do with having a wider range of undergraduates, so a wider range of socioeconomic backgrounds for the undergraduates coming to WashU, did you have a more diverse student body?
Yes.
Are there other steps you've taken in terms of, maybe it just happened organically, but are there steps you've taken in terms of your admissions programs to try to look for implicit biases of ideological conformity? Is that something you're aware of or care about at this point?
So I'm aware of it and I care about it. It is something that we continue to look at, particularly in the essay questions and so forth that we ask among our students. One of the things that we've been doing that I'm really proud of is that we've spent a lot of resources, many of which have come from philanthropic contributions, to go out and find talented students wherever they are.
Right.
We do that in cities all over the country. We also have a program, 2 different programs actually, to go out and try to find talented rural students. We'd rather have those students. We'll take students from wherever they come, but we're going to have a much greater chance of getting those students from Missouri and Southern Illinois. And so we have a team of individuals who are visiting high schools all across the state of Missouri who might have 1 or 2 students who have the horsepower to come to a place like WashU. And certainly given the curricula in their high schools are not going to have the same level of training as someone who went to a fancy private school, say here in New York.
Andrew, can I just interrupt to tell you, share a story that you might enjoy? So I've had this experience now probably 6 or 7 times where I had a freshman advisee at Brown, some very talented person, often from a non-traditional Brown background, who would tell me that they've been aggressively recruited by WashU, and that they were on the fence about which way to go. And the ones who went to WashU, I never met, but I've met probably 7 people I can remember who sat in my office saying, "Boy, I had this really interesting experience where this particular university really made it clear they wanted me to go there and recruited them to come." So that's probably part of that same initiative.
It's part of the
I
same
thought it was really
initiative.
striking. And I'll just say it's the only school that I can remember a student saying to me, "Boy, this school really made an effort to get me to go there." And WashU's though kept coming up.
Well, and we really value diversity at WashU. And what that means is we've got to go out there and we've got to find people wherever they are, and make sure that they can understand what are the opportunities for them there. And we need to make sure that we're prepared to offer to those students what they need to be successful, right? And a student coming from rural Missouri is going to need something very different than a student that's coming from a public high school in New York.